Today, I want to show you my bass pedal board. What's that I hear? Pat, you silly man. Who plays bass with a pedal board? Well, I do, all alone, right here in my jam space. I'll show you my bass pedal board, my bass amp. I'll give you some tips and tricks, pedals I love using on bass. Let's just do this. Hey everybody, it's Pat and welcome back to another video. For those of you who don't know me, I make all sorts of videos around making music, such as tips, tricks, tutorials, original songs, all kind of stuff. So if you're into that, you can click the subscribe button, and if you've done that, go ahead and click the bell to get notified when I upload, which is every single week. All right, so bass pedal boards, definitely in my opinion something that doesn't get enough attention, at least here on YouTube. So I'm putting a video out there in the interwebs for you bass players out there who want to maybe get started on pedals. This is definitely a good start. Really simple build. We'll go through everything and I'll show you some tips and tricks, pedals you can start using on bass. All right, let's start with my bass. This is Pamela. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Is that how that goes? I don't know. This is a 2009 50s P-Bass reissue, I think. It's based off a 50s P-Bass, basically. It's a great instrument. I bought it new in 2009. On the bass amp side of things, I play a wonderful Ampeg B5R on a rack mount back there with a 412 cab. I think those are 12s. I'm not certain, but I love this amp. It's got two channels, a clean one and a distorted one. You can switch or mix them, and it also has an octave down. We'll look at my pedal board and the little switcher that I have here to sort of activate or deactivate those options, and you'll really understand how this bass amp works. It's really cool. So let me show you the clean sound, and then we'll start looking at pedals and have some fun on the board. Let's go. Because this is a much smaller pedal board, I don't use a dedicated power supply or anything like that. I just use a daisy chain, so you might hear some noise here and there, but that's the compromise of using something like a daisy chain cable. But because I just have 3 or 4 pedals on there, usually I won't bother buying another power supply, at least not yet. So basically the Footswitch has 2 inputs, one for a normal cable and the other one for a stereo cable. You can see down here that there are 2 rings. That means it's a stereo cable. So this goes to the amp back there behind it, and basically you plug them into the correct inputs here on the Footswitch, and this controls the overdrive while this controls the octave down. This is the overdrive on or off. This is the combine option. So you're not switching from the clean channel to the overdrive, you're actually mixing them together. I always have it on. I like it way better that way. Okay, so the next pedal you might have seen on my full guitar pedal board, linked right here if you want to see that, by the way, but it's the MXR Phase 90. I think putting phase on bass can be really fun, sort of open new creative doors. If you're sort of just used to your regular bass sound, try putting a phaser somewhere on your chain, either before or after the distortions. It's really a lot of fun. I like having phaser on bass. Yeah, I do. I swear. The next one is, in my opinion, the most important. If you're gonna play bass with one pedal, it should be a chorus. This is a really cheap chorus from Outlaw Effects, but it does the job. I wanted to buy it specifically for bass, and I don't play bass that often, but it definitely does the job for that. There are a million different kinds of choruses, really, really good ones, and cheaper ones like this one. I think this one was like 50 bucks or something like that, but it does the job. If you listen to Nirvana or Guns N' Roses, it was all over the bass tone. And if you want like a fat bass tone or just something that's not your plain old regular tone, a chorus is really the way to go. Again, if you want to try something new on bass and just add one pedal, go from 0 to 1, chorus is the first one, the first step. Do it. In my opinion, if you already have one pedal, which is supposed to be a chorus, the next step should definitely be a delay. So what if you don't have a bass amp that has the same features as mine, which is an overdrive and an octave down? Well, if you've seen my last video, linked in the description, I talked about a pedal that was great on bass. Let me show you. The Boss OC3. This is amazing on bass. Whether you use the distortion or not, it's amazing. It even has a bass in. It's just waiting for you to plug it in and play around with it on bass. Another excellent contender for bass pedals would be an EQ. This is an older version of the MXR 6-band EQ. It's not super exciting, but it's just one of those things that could potentially save your life. If you put it at the end of your chain, you can sort of adjust your tone before you go into your amp, and whatever venue you're playing in, adjust your tone so that you sound really good for whatever place you're playing in. My bass amp has an EQ for the clean channel, so it's got a bass, mid, and treble knob, basically, but even if, regardless of that, I like to throw this on sometimes, either just to make fine adjustments because I have more options. EQ is a fun tool, fun creative tool if you have the inspiration for it. It's a great pedal. I love this. Are there any other pedals that you could throw on your bass pedal board? Well, yes, let me show you a bunch of them. There you go. This is my guitar pedal collection. The point I'm trying to make here is that there's nothing wrong with trying guitar pedals on bass. I actually believe that there's no such thing as bass pedals. I mean, there are, and they're great for bass, but guitar pedals are also great on bass. If you're a guitarist or a friend you know or somebody you know or whoever has a bunch of guitar pedals, you can, borrow them, try them out, and if they work, go buy one for yourself. It doesn't matter if it's a bass pedal or a guitar pedal. If it works, it works. It's awesome. I actually use guitar pedals on vocals sometimes. I'll make a video on that in the future, but this is just to make a point that it doesn't have to be specifically bass pedals. Don't limit yourself to that. So go out there, get a bunch of pedals, and craft your own bass sound that will really set you apart. That way you won't be just the other guy who just plays plain bass, So I hope you enjoyed that and you found it useful. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on your way out. And I'd love to know if you use guitar or bass pedals on your bass pedal board, if you have one, if you're one of those special people. So let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, my Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Facebook, all those links, they're down below, along with more stuff to watch in these videos right here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.